Well, happy Friday, everybody. What's going on? It's Can I Talk with Roz McCarthy here from Orlando. What's going on, people? Tap in, tap in. I see folks coming in already into the room. Please tap in. We got a great show today, and I'm super excited. For those who don't know me, I'm Roz McCarthy, founder and CEO of Minorities for Medical Marijuana, as well as Black Buddha Cannabis. I produce this show every single week because I'm now going on 7 years in the industry, and I meet some fantastic people. And I feel like if I'm meeting them and if I'm knowing them and if I feel and I think they're fantastic, you guys need to see them too. You need to know them. You need to meet them. You need to know what's going on. So we pride ourselves on bringing fantastic guests, and especially guests that are coming from the Black and Brown community that are in the cannabis and hemp industry. And today is, without fail, we have two amazing guests. Our topic today is basically celebrating Black entrepreneurs who are making gains in the cannabis and hemp industry. We have people throughout this country doing incredible work, and you don't know about it. And I want to make sure that you get a chance to meet these two fantastic people. First and foremost, we're going to bring up Mr. Keith Parker. Hey, Keith.
Hey, how's everybody going?
Everybody. Everything is everything, man. And next we have Ms. Natalie Bonner. Hey, Natalie, how are you?
Hi everyone. Happy Friday. I'm so excited to be here with Roz and Keith.
I'm so happy to have you as well. So again, guys, my topic today is about Black entrepreneurs making gains in cannabis and hemp. And these two entrepreneurs, business owners, are doing some incredible work, and I want you to know about it. I want you to hear from them. I want them to talk about who they are, where they come from, and how they got into this industry. So we're going to let ladies go first. And Natalie, please introduce yourself. Tell people your name, where you're from, and what do you do in this industry, and how long you've been doing it.
Hi, everyone. As Roz mentioned, I'm Natalie Bonner, and I'm the founder and CEO of Blue Lotus Creations Herbal Emporium in Biloxi, Mississippi. I started my business in 2018. It was a home-based business. I met Roz and I asked her, could I launch a chapter of M4MM here in the state of Mississippi? We were just beginning our initiative for medical marijuana legalization. And since 2018, we have moved into our second location. I started in the CBD space, and with medical marijuana coming on board and more CBD shops being opened, I expanded my brand into an herbal wellness emporium to include cannabis products as well as other herbal remedies. So, and then I know we're going to talk later, but we are now in the South. We have a medical marijuana program in the state of Mississippi that's live. Patients are buying products, and we're hosting our second cannabis festival here. So we're really excited. And if you're on the Gulf Coast in Biloxi, please stop by Blue Lotus Creations Herbal Emporium.
Yeah, we're going to talk all about that. I want to know, what's the skinny in Mississippi? Who's doing it? Who's providing the medicine? How can we get more Black and brown businesses in the fray? But I'm super excited. My relationship with Natalie goes years back, and it's just been one of nothing but love and support. I saw her when she just had a product and was like, okay, here's a couple products. And now she has this beautiful venue that is a great place to, not only do you have product, but you do events there, Natalie. You do the whole 9 yards, right?
Correct.
Yeah. In Mississippi, mind you. Think about that. So we're going to talk about that some more. So let's go. Our next guest that we have, Mr. Keith Parker. Keith, what's going on, brother?
Hey, thank you, Ms. Roz.
You're welcome. Tell everybody who you are, where you're located, and what are you doing in the cannabis and hemp industry, and how long you've been doing it?
All right. So my name is Keith Parker. I'm the founder of Piedmont Hemp Company, and my wife is a co-founder, is not here yet. And so for us, we got into the business about 2014 is when we became interested. And so a little bit about myself. I'm a retired Army acquisition officer with multiple combat tours. And from those multiple combat tours, obviously there was some degradation in my quality of health. Around 2014, I became interested in the series, the cannabis series by Dr. Sanjay Gupta.
Yeah.
And before then, I had no idea that there were cannabis strains that did not contain a high amount of THC, almost a negligible amount. So I became very comfortable with that. And our farm in North Carolina around the same time when I retired from the Army. Our story is kind of common for the South. In 1935, our grandfather, who bought 75-acre tract in Wilson, North Carolina, he couldn't read nor write, but he was an astute businessman and had a pristine farm. Sometime after he passed away, our farm transitioned hands, and my father John S.T. Parker fought very hard legally to get the farm back under our jurisdiction. And he asked the heirs to come up with a business model to sustain the farm. Well, I was already interested, and with Sanjay Gupta, North Carolina passed House Bill 313 in 2015, and that's where my journey began.
Wow.
Initially, all I wanted was our farm in North Carolina to have a North Carolina A&T state sign on it before my dad passed away, said it was research and development. At North Carolina A&T State University, my alma mater, I get pride, Dr. Young, who was a voting member on the North Carolina Industrial Hemp Commission, he socialized what we were trying to do, and we got our first license to grow hemp in 2017. At that time, we were told we were the first Black farm in North Carolina, but that's not relevant right now, but it is a good historical mark. And during our first grow, local farmers contaminated our fields with pesticides. So we lost all that investment, went back to North Carolina A&T to discuss about doing greenhouses as a research and development. Time appeared, COVID came, and so during that time, we focused on our nutraceutical products. We have an array of great products that you can use externally, our pain balm, daily moisturizer, our hand sanitizers. We make quality tinctures. And we have a new product that we're releasing, our CBD tincture, CBD shisha that's coming out this week. And so everything that we make, we curate ourselves, and we follow the model of the ancient Egyptians, and we use herbs and spices infused with hemp and CBD to help you reach your desired emotional outcome. So a lot of great things have happened. Last year, I graduated from the Texas A&M School of Entrepreneurship, where we introduced a new farming system using hydroponics and mobile shipping containers. And now we're coming back, and our focus is to get back into the HBCUs, get research and development going, and be an impetus for the next generation to be masters of growing this great plant for health, wealth, and clothing.
Man, if you ain't speak up, you just dropped so many lines and nuggets and all that good stuff. Listen, it's so much. So let me tell you why I'm so proud to have you both on, because you're both entrepreneurs. You're both in your own. You found your lane in this cannabis and hemp industry, and you provide like an experience and top-notch quality products and things of that nature. And so I guess, our topic is about making gains. And I'll start with you, Natalie. Like where you are now compared to where you were 3 or 4 years ago, what did you have to do? What were you doing to keep motivated, especially when you saw a market that was maybe a little sluggish? Or what was your driving force behind not stopping?
I had to show up every single day. I have a great story to share. When I first started, Keith, and the audience, I started MLM, My Daily Choice. I learned about cannabis late at 50 years old. I'm 62 now. And that's where I started. I didn't know how to get in, but I started going to conferences that were sponsored or in conjunction with M4MM, surrounding myself with knowledgeable people, educating myself, getting green flower certified. And I was basically white labeling products as I learned until I started creating my own products through trial and error. And as a result of learning and just showing up every single day, as I mentioned earlier, I started in my home selling other people's products, then white labeling to eventually become the USDA licensed hemp producer myself, working with other individuals like Keith, and created Navera, which is my flagship product that we ship all over, and continuing also to wholesale other people's products. So I was pigeonholed here in terms of CBD. And as I learned more and more about plant medicine, I said I have to expand my service offering because not everyone can use cannabis products. So the most important thing I can tell anyone out there listening is just show up every single day. I went out
Yeah.
to Vegas with it cost me $4,000. I remember my first show in Vegas, and I sold $100 worth of product. That almost defeated me. Can you imagine startup business spending $4,000 to travel out to Las Vegas, thinking that I was going to come back tripling and doubling that money, and I only sold $100 worth of product? It almost defeated me, but I continue to show up every single day.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember you in Vegas and your setup was great. I mean, it's almost like you were before your time in regards to how you presented yourself, the branding, very specific, and you had to make those investments into your business. But you didn't stop. And that's where I want to, like, if you guys don't understand, this is the reinvention queen. Like, she will take, all right, that didn't work, we're going to take it, we're going to go here. And then that didn't work, we're going to take it and go here. So I just want people to understand the power of just not stopping, and staying focused on your dream, right?
Correct. You have to be like, I'm aged, so I don't know how many of you know Bruce Lee, but he said that we have to be like water, and water adjusts, it flows, it takes shape of whatever container that it's put in. So show up and be like water.
Absolutely. So Keith, same question for you. Like, you've been in 2013, seeing this 2014. I remember that Sanjay Gupta and that whole, he was the first, like, scientist with some type of panache that kind of was like, this plant is something that's more than just getting high. And from that point to where you are today, what has sustained you? What's the mantra? What do you do to go pushing forward even when you know you have those difficult days?
Pray.
Yeah,
Um,
prayer for sure.
yes. First off, I start the day every day in meditation and prayer. And to sustain you, pick you up through the hard days. So the way I got introduced into the industry, and you remember back during those times, you couldn't say cannabis or hemp in the open, or you were subject to the cancel culture coming at you early.
Yeah.
And so our story is when North Carolina first passed House Bill 313, within that legislation, the name North Carolina A&T and North Carolina State as the proponents for that for the hemp pilot. They mentioned that the hemp commission had to be funded by a certain amount of money, and they wrote out what was called the North Carolina Industrial Hemp Association. Immediately, I put money into that. Once the account had generated and they established the North Carolina Hemp Commission, then the next thing that I did was to start becoming part of advocacy groups. One of the first advocacy groups was Vote Hemp. Mr. Eric Steenstra and Ben Draws, those guys, they were the drivers in the industry for the 2014 Farm Bill. And I used to drive myself up to hemp days on Capitol Hill. Me and one of our business partners, Ron Smith, and we would sit there on Capitol Hill and we would follow them and we would do what they did. Did that for 2 years before I actually opened my mouth, right? I was following what the hemp advocates were doing. I was hearing what their concerns were. I wasn't a farmer, but we had land. And so there weren't African Americans around. There was nobody I could share a story with or the temperature, but they were so inviting. And so my inspiration from the hemp industry was working with these great leaders in the industry, right? The Preston
Yeah.
Whitfield, the NoCo Hemp folks. By 2019, we was actually on the speaking circuit with NoCo Hemp. So our passion is advocacy, right? I clearly understand that when a new industry comes out, unfortunately, our culture just happens to be the last ones invited to the table. And I felt it was a God blessing. I was like, no, I need you to see this. This is where I need you to go. So, and because of the healing properties of this plant and what it does for your body, I'm happy. I'm a happy scientist every single day
Yeah.
because I see an avenue. I feel an avenue of where we can go. And this is about helping the underserved and generational wealth. And I just have this powerful emotion, right, to bring this back to fruition because hemp used to be mandatory to grow in the 13 colonies. A
Hmm.
lot of people made wealth, but they criminalized us inside the red line district. And this is our time to to level the playing field and make it equal for everybody.
So it was mandatory in the 13 colonies. So that was a agricultural plant that was a part of the fabric of this country, way back.
Yes, absolutely. And actually, one of George Washington's largest hemp fields is where the Pentagon resides today. There are pictures in the bottom of the Pentagon that actually show the former hemp fields. But yes, the 13 colonies, it was mandatory to grow, but we were criminalized heavily starting in the 70s in the
Yeah.
red line districts, which is the African American neighborhoods.
Yep. And there it goes from there. So, when we think about what you're doing, Natalie, when we think about what you're doing, Keith, as well, you're now creating products for the modern day consumer. Can you, Natalie, and Keith, and I'll start with you, Natalie, talk about the education gap that you sometimes have to figure out how to get across to you create these wonderful products, but being able to connect with consumers who are still not maybe up on the benefits of CBD and a CBD infused product. And let's talk about that a little bit. And what do you do
Definitely.
to try to overcome that gap?
Well, I'm part of the baby boomer generation, and we grew up on that entire dogma and narrative about with the war on drugs. So you grow up not understanding any efficacy of herbal medicine, nor in particularly cannabis. So
Right.
now the biggest naysayers are still the baby boomer generation, even though, we did Woodstock and we were 60s babies. They still think of it as that it's marijuana, it's going to get me high, and just having to educate them on the differences of the plant, the efficacy. Many of them, most baby boomers have a medicine cabinet or counter full of medicines, and just educating them on the endocannabinoid system, how CBD works in the body, and as I mentioned, also offering those who refuse to look at the efficacies of cannabis, introducing them to other herbal medicines that can help them. But like I said, education is the biggest thing. And my biggest roadblock of people to educate are the baby boomers. So what we host senior sessions to educate the age group, and also do a lot of because we're as we age, we have more aches and pains. And like Keith, I have a pain product, and letting them use that and understanding that you can use this plant to treat your ailments, and you don't have to get high. Because the first thing they'll say, I don't want to get high. Well, first of all, I'm not getting high, but you definitely need to understand that
with
you
hemp,
don't have to get high.
right. If you have a hemp-based product, ladies and gentlemen, for those that don't know, the THC level is supposedly based upon the Farm Bill, the 2021 Farm Bill, which is under 0.3%. So you will not get proverbial high for sure.
Yes.
Yes. Keith, same thing. And Keith, same thing. You have a product line, and we're going to want you to detail down what your products are, because we are about on this show, how can we help put attention and to get people to buy your products. So Keith, same question. How do you cross that gap of education for the consumer to get people to even know the efficacy of your product and being able to look to tap into you?
Oh, yes. Thanks for that question, Roz. And Nell and I, we've all gone through this before. And in reading the audience, as Natalie said before, the minute you say cannabis, hemp, anything, people refer to THC.
Yeah.
Now, let's look at the additional difficulty that I have because we were geographically located around the capital. This is heavy. Department of Defense, government, employees and defense contractors. And you want to talk about a mindset that was anti-hemp. So one of the methods that I use I came from a scientific perspective of this, because from 1999 to 2019, the federal government literally had a patent on the plant, and they conducted over 27,000 research topics. So you can name CBD, Parkinson's, CBD, Crohn's disease, CBD, anxiety. So in order to validate my credibility, I used to go through the National Institute of Health and understand what their research was. And that way I can break down the barrier and give folks a little confidence about the dogma that they currently have. The next thing I do is being very familiar with our legislative actions. In 2014, yes, CBD was on the Schedule 1 list, but in 2018 Farm Bill, it was taken off the Schedule 1 list, and therefore, being that it was legal as long as it met the 0.3% or less of Delta-9 THC dry weight and opened the door, what most people do not remember is 2015, CBD was illegal for the federal government and the Department of Defense. The 2018 Farm Bill made it legal such that even the anti-doping agency for athletes can use CBD, right? But they caution to go to a licensed, get your product that's certified. So every product that we have in Piedmont Hemp Company, before it goes out to the consumer, when we get our product from a farm or flower from a farmer, we make sure we have a certificate of analysis that it meets the federal guidelines. Once we convert that into a product, we send that back off to a lab, and so we have a certificate of analysis. So therefore, the way we mitigate some of the dogma about the plant is because we have compliance built in the Piedmont Hemp Company on everything that we do. And we leveraged National Institute of Health because we make products that are about helping you meet your emotional desired outcome. And National Institute of Health has already proved it. So why do I need to do it again? I can always refer there. And the last thing is, when we come out with new products, we have a teaming relationship with Tri-Layer Holistic Care, which is in Bluffton, Hilton Head, South Carolina. And so when I come out with new products, they go down to the Holistic Center to go through a series of customer reviews. And from those reviews where we improve our product, make the necessary changes, get it off to the lab and provide it to the consumer, and you have a COA to go with it.
Well, since we talking about that, I just want to go ahead and let's show them a little bit of your product. Let me just talk about it for a little bit, because this is what. So let me tell you how I met Keith, right? So I'm walking through Congressional Black Caucus, and I'm running, and I've been speaking or whatever. And so they have a little area that you can go, and they have different people that are selling different things, and you can walk through. So I'm walking through, and this gentleman stops me, and he was like, and I think you knew who I was. I didn't know who you were. And you were like, I want to share something with you. I want to tell you a little bit about my product, what I'm doing. And so he says, and I got something for you. He says, here's a sample. Here's my moisturizing hand sanitizer with hemp seed oil, right? This is how it's packaged, right? So I said, okay. So I took it, not thinking twice about it, because I'm trying to just have some downtime. So I get back to my room, and something just says, I take it out, I try it. Man, was I blown away. First and foremost, this particular, I wear it like it's perfume, like it's my personal perfume. It's hand sanitizer. To the point that I left it in Nevada with, I was with my my national my national director for all of our programs. I leave it at her house by accident, and she was like, "Well, I'm sorry, I'm keeping this." But literally, I just want you to know how proud I am of you, first and foremost, because one, you was getting your hustle on. And you was like, you gonna get a sample of this product. You're gonna take this product today. And I'm so glad that you pushed it on me, because this is where we've come since then. And that was just only in September. That this product right here this is the hand sanitizer. So it has the ethyl alcohol, which is for sanitizing for antimicrobial purposes. But the other ingredients, y'all, sweet almond oil, hemp seed oil, jojoba oil, patchouli with ginger vanilla fragrance. And when I tell you, when I take this right here and I spray, it's so beautiful. It's not harsh.
Thank you.
It smells good. It's moisturizing. It feels good. So I encourage you guys, like literally, you have my heart. After I tried this product, I was like, oh my gosh. But then it got better because I was like, all right, Keith, well, what else do you have? What you gonna bring? So then he sends me a box. Here's my box. He sends me these satchels full of different products. Satchel, right? So I'm already like, God bless, love you, Keith. He hooking a sister up. But no, this is what he sent in addition. COA, certificate of analysis for your product. Legal notice. This is when I knew this brother was on top of it. The legal notice saying what's contained in this product package might look like marijuana, but it's actually legal industrial hemp flower grown in compliance with the Agricultural Act of 2014. He's protecting his customers, y'all. Mm-hmm. So if you were to get stopped and somebody saw this and they thought you were carrying cannabis and it's really hemp, I just felt like so well put together. Card in every little package. He had his business card in there. And this is what, on top of that, so this is the Estes Evolution Hemp Seed Oil Body Moisturizer with Ginger Vanilla Fragrance. I mean, look, packaging, nice, neat, to the point. Look. So my sister Natalie has been on me like, Roz, when we gonna get some Black Buddha or my CBD life, or when we gonna get some of this in your... And so, yes, we have Black Buddha, but Black Buddha is in legalized states on the cannabis side. But my new CBD company of choice is Piedmont Hemp Company. It's Black-owned. It's a Black producer. He farms his own hemp, and he makes it so that it resonates with me as a Black woman. The smell, I smell like a goddess, like a queen.
I love it.
Right here, this moisturizer right here. I'm doing a commercial. Listen, moisturizer, you put it on. Look, you can see, wait, hold on, let me get the light. So you could, if I get the light right, but you can just tell the moisture, the content in it. And it has these ingredients that just feel like, okay, ingredients again. Let me see. Sweet almond oil. Okay, let's talk about it. We know this stuff right here, y'all. West African shea butter. Yes. Mm-hmm. Beeswax. Yes. Sweet almond oil, coconut oil, hemp seed oil, jojoba oil, patchouli oil, ginger, vanilla fragrance, and love. And I just want to tell you, Mr. Keith Parker, that I'm so proud of you, that your products are my fan favorite. I love them, and we are going to do something about it to make these available through the M4MM family and platform to everyone out there, because it's just top notch what you've done. And I'll be quiet right here and let you just kind of add on. How did you, formulation wise, you did such a great job. How did you know how to bring this together to make it all just really be such a perfect product?
Oh, thank you. I'm not good for taking comments or what have you, so you got me blushing in public, right? But when it comes to the passion of the cannabis plant, what I was able to do was to really understand its history, right? And this plant originated in the Himalayas at about 3,500 BCE through the Palestine trade routes, wound up in Africa. What I was able to do with some friends that understood how to translate Hebrew, we come to find out that cannabis was a major part of Egyptian culture. And so we studied the herbs that they were using, the ashwagandha, Egyptian calendula, obviously the shea butter. And when I started understanding the significance that on those papyrus papers and those tablets, right, of how they use cannabis, I'm not doing anything new. I'm just reinvigorating something that was developed thousands of years ago and just putting our spin on it, which is social media. And so we don't recreate industry. We just kind of take what's already there and apply it, because it's about trying to help you achieve your emotional desired outcome. And I know more about that as a combat veteran with so many ailments. And so I use these ailments on myself to help improve myself.
Yeah.
Even though
And it's something powerful. So we cannot discount our five senses, right? And our
yes,
five senses, one of them is the ability to smell. And there is nothing more powerful than being able to create something that has a effect and it affects your ability of what you smell and how that translates to healing, to wellness, to feeling better. And I'm over here bathing in your products because it feels so good. So one of the senses, how it feels, the touch, right? It
yeah.
feels good, but it smells good. And you know, and again,
Aromatherapy. Yeah.
The aromatherapy, thank you.
The
It's so
aromatherapy is
critical.
real.
It's real.
Yeah, it's important to understand about the cannabis ban. While the cannabinoids are very important to get to open the pathways, the terpenes and the flavonoids is where the health and the nutrition comes from. It's where the
Yeah.
wellness comes from. And guess what? The biggest organ in your body is your
Your
skin.
skin.
Yeah.
Yes. Anybody that didn't know this, the skin is the biggest organ in the body. So
Yeah.
as you see me lathering on Keith's
Mhm.
his Este's evolution. I don't know who Este is,
It's
but shout
dad.
out to Este. Is that your aunt?
That's my dad. His middle name was ST. Just
Uh-huh.
to give you a little bit about that, when my grandfather had started that farm, it was about tobacco farming, cotton farming, and all the animals. And so when we transitioned to get our first license to grow hemp, that was the evolution of the farm. So ST, my dad was a spearhead that supported the research I gave him. So we named our very first product after dad, ST Evolution. My father's name is John ST Parker.
Well, John St. Partner, God bless you, brother. God bless you for creating this young man, this man who has created such beautiful products. Again, if you look on here, it's stamped with your QR code, and then you have it looks like you have is that a veterans
Yes, ma'am.
yes, a
Yes.
symbol of your serving our country. We thank you for serving our country. People don't know that Miss Natalie Bonner, and we're going to transition over to Natalie as well. Natalie is also a veteran. And she's also someone that
Please,
has
sir.
taken the liberty of she don't put no any and everything on her shelves. And so, Natalie, what I want you to do is talk about from a retailer perspective. For those people that are out there that want to create a retail shop in a legalized state that may not be a legalized cannabis, but can produce product that's hemp, CBD related, talk them through your journey of determining, of saying, I'm going to do this, finding the space, building out the space, negotiating with realtors, figuring out how you get buy-in, and then incorporating things outside of just buying product in your space. I think it's key for people that want to get into the retail side.
Yes, but basically, once you locate the space, I mean, affordability when you're starting out, unless you have a large backing of investors, is very important. We started out in a very small space, 350 square feet, and we built our brand until we outgrew that space, and now we're in a 2,000 square foot space. And sourcing, one thing that Keith mentions and Roz mentions that is truly, truly important are the certificates of analysis from those that you are buying products from. So we look at some of what we consider, we do our research and look at some of the top 5 or 6 CBD companies in the US, popular with consumers, and those are the type of products that we bring in. And I will be looking at Keith's products next because I would love to have them in Blue Lotus Creations.
Come
Listen,
on.
So basically,
you will not go wrong having
I already know that.
as you
Especially when he was
as
talking
you can
about the
see.
Egyptians, because the name of my company is Blue Lotus Creations Herbal Emporium, and I chose the name Blue Lotus Creations because the Egyptians used the blue lotus flower, which has a lot of the properties that cannabis has. So that's how our name was derived. And we have a lot of Blue Lotus products in our shop. And Keith, I can't wait to talk to you more about bringing your product in. But back to what Roz is asking, it's just very important to make sure that you're dealing, because there's a lot of gas station CBD dealers around here.
Yes.
and that you can find in the gas station. Not knocking that, but I would rather make sure that I'm buying my product from someone who can not only educate me and also have can give me a certificate of analysis. So, and that's very important. Now, in terms of the real estate, a lot of my friends who have owned CBD stores found that once they would tell that landlord that they were opening up a cannabis business, they would either, and sometimes this was after the deals have been inked, they would rescind that contract, or they would raise the rent exponentially so that then they couldn't afford it. For example, I started off paying $450 a month rent, but someone else, a friend of mine in California, they had to shut down because they had signed the documents. The rent was agreed upon, and out there it was $1,000. But once the landlord found out what they were retailing, he tripled the rent cost. So those are the kinds of hurdles that you have to you have to you have to overcome. But finding the right location, foot traffic is very, very important. Building your brand with your local community is very, very important when you're in retail, because a lot of you may be like me, where you open up your online store and you think the money's just going to come flowing in. You hear all of these Shopify statistics, $10,000 a month for an online store. I'm here to tell you that is not a reality. And just because you start your online business does not mean that those sales are going to be coming in the way you expect. So you really have to build a community within your neighborhood and build a brand and a trustworthy person in the cannabis space in your community, where people will come to you, they will refer you. And I'm very fortunate that I live in a tourist town in Biloxi, Mississippi. So we get a lot of people that are coming down who love the casinos, and get your business cards, your information in your visitor centers, all of your neighboring businesses, and the chamber and business organizations are essential in retail as you build your online brand. So that's really, and then get involved in the community. One of the things that helps you is when you get involved, as I said, the chamber and other initiatives in your community. I'm a veteran. We do a homeless veteran initiative. We're working on a homeless veteran community now for a transition and reintegrating those veterans back into society. And all of those social volunteerism helps to build your brand as you move over into retail.
Talk about some of the activities you've done in your store. Like, you've done creative, just bust down some of the things that you've done that have gone over very well in your community, please.
One thing that I use to offset my costs is events. So I was very fortunate where I could gain a space where I could host very intimate events, book signings, book club meetings. One thing we do, instead of charging people to use our space, we only ask that their guest buy at a minimum a $20 product. And that could be a pre-roll, that can be a gummies, or in my case, it can be holy basil or sacred heart tincture. So that is very appealing to people who want to throw events, but they don't want to put out a lot of cost. So they get to use the space, and we get to meet their customers, their friends who may not have known that we existed. And so that also helps us with our branding and getting people in the store. Something else you can do if you're looking at a retail space is I have little corners, segments of my store that I allow. Say Roz makes body butters, or she sells earrings. I will charge her, say, $50 a month, where she can bring her. I have a dedicated space for her. She pays me $50 a month to showcase her products. She sells those earrings for, say, $20. I sell them for $30, so I make $10. I give her 20, so there's no loss to her. And I'm also adding to my revenue her monthly payment of $50, which helps
Yeah.
buy inventory, because as a retail store, you have to have inventory.
Inventory. You gotta have product, right?
Yeah, you
So
gotta have
we got
product.
folks here. We got folks. We have Jodeci Gonzalez, who is our assistant, executive assistant, and admin with InfoMM. She has a honey. So listen, everybody knows Josie and Buzz, but she has a CBD infused honey. So the whole part about this conversation today is, one, being able to uplift and showing Black entrepreneurs who are making gains, but more importantly, of opportunities of us cooperating together. Cooperative economics is the only way that we're going to successfully be able to see multimillionaires come out of this industry. So instead of Roz trying to make a new product that is focused on skincare that feels like this, because Roz would want her product to look like this, and I want to buy this. Well, Roz, use your platform, bring Keith in, figure out how you guys can share cooperative economics, so that Keith wins, Roz wins, and man, there you go. So
And can I add something, Roz?
Huh?
I just want to add one thing for those that are out there watching, and I saw the amazing comments, and we all can't wait to get our hands on Keith's products. Maybe he didn't say this, but maybe Keith does white labeling, and you want to start your CBD store. You can get your products, then you know they are valid, they have COAs, and
so let's let Keith come on in here. Keith, tell us a little
I'm
bit.
going to fly down to Mississippi to hang out for a while. By the way, of Florida.
That's right. Come on through. But I mean, those are those opportunities. And if you don't, like my mother used to say, a closed mouth don't get fed. That's right. I encourage folks to ask the questions. If you're seeing people like Natalie, you're seeing people like Keith, we have the ability, y'all, to be creative and to be flexible and to like. Natalie just told you she'd go create a corner. You pay her $50. If you was going to sell it for 20, sell it to her. Like, so listen,
Natalie, I'm going to be. We're sending a package down for that space. I'm promising.
Yeah, and I got one from Black Buddha. I got one from the Black Buddha hoodie. So buy them from me from wholesale. And the only thing I want them to do is to buy it and to follow us on Instagram. That's it. If they buy it, follow us on Instagram, and we'll go from there. But it's just the cooperative economics is the energy. Talk to us, Keith, about white labeling. How do you work with other different Black owners who are wanting to enter this space and maybe support them in some kind of way?
So white labeling has been on our strategy for about 3 years now. And as Natalie mentioned earlier, I started white labeling when we first got into it, just trying to understand the business. What we're doing this year is we're pretty much flipping our whole marketing strategy inside out. We're tearing everything down and rebuilding back up. And the reason I say that is we actually now have a Visa payment processor with Piedmont Hemp Company. I'm going to tell you, it was extremely hard. It was 6 months of continuous effort to do that. But with that payment processor comes additional capabilities like subscription service. We're going to be able to do the wholesale work online where people can order through the website, and then we can get them their product at wholesale. We built an affiliate marketing program that's active right now. And so we have all these capabilities that we were just waiting for the market to catch up. And also, again, it takes a lot of money to drive these. And when you're bootstrapping your own business, there's limitations. And as Natalie said, everybody thinks there is a lot of money in this business, but the overhead is astronomical. And that's why we have to stay together with cooperative economics, right?
Absolutely.
Let me tell you about this payment processor that people don't understand. They went through they audited every aspect of Piedmont Hemp Company from the top to the bottom. I had to show them videos of all of our processes. After all of that, building the website, they validated every single word on the website. But the risk is they consider CBD businesses with the same tolerance level as a strip club. So guess what comes on top of that? The astronomical fees on every credit card charge that we have to have. Yeah. Right. So we've done a lot of things to mitigate that. And since we've hired a new marketing company, in about 8 weeks, we're going to be ready to get into position with white labeling and these other business entities. We've just now put in an order to upgrade our equipment so that we can scale up. And so all of us working together, we can make a better quality of life for us all. And again, for a lot of big things that we're doing, the revenue that we have a program where we're focused on the underserved and people that are within the red line districts. We're also on doing legislation in Maryland, and we're also on State Senator Jeremy McPike's team in Virginia. So we're doing a lot of things to get things going.
Nice. So this is a great segue because Natalie, you got some special things coming up in Mississippi that we got to talk about, because the way that you are, not only you've created this retail in this area where people can come, experience, get educated, create network, they can buy product, but you're also creating something for the general public to allow people to come and normalize cannabis in a real way. And if you guys don't know, Natalie is in Mississippi. She is in the heart of the Bible Belt of this country, which is so tough to be able to get them to look at this as not the devil's lettuce. So talk about what's coming up and what you're involved in and why it's so important.
Guys, the reason why I'm grinning like a Cheshire cat here is because she is talking about the Cannabis Festival. I went to the National Cannabis Festival back in 2019. And that experience was so amazing, seeing all of the cannabis enthusiasts and cannabis lovers. So I was like, I want to bring that to Mississippi. And then I said to myself, Natalie, we're talking about Mississippi. But I'd held true to that. And last year in 2022, we had our first Gulf Coast Cannabis Festival.
All right. Congratulations.
It was amazing how receptive the community was to having this festival. We had educational sessions, we had veterans outreach, live music, our political figures came out, we had the community support, and it was an amazing event. For our first year, we had about 45 vendors, the whole food trucks, live music, and we had over 1,000 attendees. And that's pretty good for your first event.
Absolutely.
And this year, the demand is so incredible that we're doing it over 3 days, right?
Nice.
To go from 1 day to 3 days. So the first day is something that we're called the Great Gatsby Gets High on a Harlem Night. So it's a 20s, 40s, 40s themed party on that Friday night.
You guys got a lot going on there. That's awesome.
And then we have the Saturday, the full educational sessions. And then that Sunday, for those people who don't want the party to end, we're doing something called Baked at Brunch. So, but here's the exciting part. When people saw the success of the Gulf Coast Mississippi Cannabis Festival, Jessica Potts reached out to me and she said, how in the world did you do a cannabis festival? And I was like, I really don't know, but it was meant to be because it came together so effortlessly. And we are doing the first Red Stick Cannabis Street Fair in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, a week after the Mississippi Gulf Coast Cannabis Festival. So that's something else you can do. Don't wait to bring a festival to your town or an event. Spearhead it, and the people will show up to support you. And we're really excited. So come to Mississippi to the Gulf Coast Cannabis Festival, guys. It's going to be an amazing 3-day event.
Oh my gosh. So tell us the date.
Oh, I'm so sorry. It's April 21st, 22nd, and 23rd.
Oh my gosh. It's 420. Y'all be killing me.
I know. And then in Baton Rouge, it's going to be April 29th. I think that Saturday is April 29th, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah. So we are really, really excited, Roz, about this. And we wanted to create something, and it's 5 of us, and we wanted to create something. Keith mentioned generational wealth, something that'll go on in the future, leaving a legacy. And this Cannabis Festival, educating, community outreach, will do that for the committee. And if you ask, they will, people will join in. What is that analogy? If you build it, they will come.
They will come. They will come.
What's happening.
And listen, you guys at the ground level. So one, I'm always all around the world, but Natalie, let's talk offline. That I want to come. I want for Emily to be there in a special way. We'll figure it out. We'll make it happen because it's really you are changing the minds of people, mainstream people that was looking at this plant in such a demonized way. And I think, of course, Keith, I know you're going to be all excited about figuring out how you can participate as well. I mean,
Yes,
just shout out
ma'am.
to you
Yes,
and
ma'am.
your team.
And Roz, I do want to thank you because I know how busy you are, but you were actually one of our first sponsors of our 2022
Yes,
Cannabis
yes.
Festival. And
And we're
we're
going to do
so
it again.
grateful.
I want to come talk to the people. I want to touch them. I want to feel them. I want to engage them. I want to get what I want people to do. I do this show because I want folks to get excited. Like you guys didn't even know about Natalie Bonner and Keith Parker. And that's why I do Can I Talk with Roz. Because mind you, sometimes I'm like, how do I get the time? But it's when we have shows like this that I know for a fact that God is ordained. You know how he's like, it's the plug, right? I look at myself as the plug. Like
Yes.
I love being the plug. Right.
Yeah.
And sometimes being the plug doesn't mean I want something back in return because I don't want anything back in return. It's the satisfaction of knowing that you got good people connected to good people. Yeah. And so I am just enthused, excited for both of you guys. You really are Black entrepreneurs who are making gains in cannabis and hemp. And I can't be more proud of you guys. So before we leave out of here, Keith, tell folks one more time, how can they find you?
You can find us on PiedmontHempCo.com. That's PiedmontHempCo.com. That's our website. And at Piedmont Hemp Co. is our social media. And so, matter of fact, Roz, I'm going to put a nice discount up in about the next 2 hours for anyone that was here. We're going to have a Can of Talk discount starting today.
There you go. Listen, honey, I know. So when you see this, it got a little price tag on it, but it lasts you forever. If you want to, COVID is still real. People sneezing and coughing and touching stuff is real. But how about having something that when you put it on, it feels good, it protects you, and it's just quality. It's like this by far was my favorite product in 2022. By far, I carry it in my backpack. I have one in my office desk. I have one at home. I think my kid has one. Nicole Buffon, if you want, she has one because she was like, I'm not giving it back. And so I definitely encourage you guys, if you have not tried, try his moisturizing hand sanitizer. Take care of the discount. Put it out there. Go get it. Go support. This right here will change your life. This is Estee's Evolution. Mr. Estee, Mr. John Estee Parker. Is it John Estee Parker?
Yes, ma'am.
God bless him, and just knowing that he inspired you to create such beautiful products. We love you, Keith, and we're excited. You guys, if you don't get it now, just know that Piedmont Hemp Company will be an official product that we will have on M4MM in our store, that you can get your tincture, your gummies, your skincare, your pain. He has a great pain relief. We are going to be intentional about 2023. It's the year of the harvest, and we're going to pick and harvest that fruit together. So thank you so much, Keith, for being on. And Natalie, let's give you an opportunity. Tell them how they can find you, Natalie.
You can find me on social media, Blue Lotus Creations, Herbal Emporium, Natalie Jones Bonner. We're on Instagram, TikTok, and through the M4MM network.
Absolutely.
Myself and DeAndrea Delaney, we are the co-directors for the state of Mississippi. And I just want to add, Roz is not just saying this because Keith is on the line. Behind the scenes, she was sharing with me how beautiful that product was and how she wears it almost instead of perfume.
Like my perfume. I do. Let me tell you, some days when I forget to put perfume on, and I know I did, and I was like, dang, I forgot to put my perfume. I got this in the office. I do this right here, and I do like this. And I walk out and somebody will go, you smell so good. I'm like, thank you. And they have no idea it's hand sanitizer. Yeah. But I'm a big patchouli. Like I love patchouli. I love ginger. I love those scents. They smell so good. Let me just tell you again, it's patchouli. I love almond oil. I love this. Oh man, it's so good. So yes.
Yeah, she loves it, as you can tell.
I do.
If you're out there, I want to say, if you're out there and you're looking to vend at our cannabis festival, the dates are April 22nd The vendor registration is live. I think until the end of February, you can get a $50 discount. Go out to the Cannabis Festival Mississippi Facebook page, get that discount code. We're going to be putting up the Red Stick Cannabis Festival, and hopefully soon you may be able to find Piedmont products on the Mississippi Gulf Coast at Blue Lotus Creations Herbal Emporium.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You guys, I love you guys so much. I love all of you guys out here that just take some time out and to follow Can I Talk with Roz. I don't take your time for granted. I don't take you for granted. I love you with all my heart, and I just want us all to win. You see this new glow on my face because I am winning. I am claiming the victory in 2023. It is harvest time. We are picking fruit. You've been working hard, guys. You've been making it happen. Now it's time to pick the fruit. Go for it. Do not stop. Go pick that fruit. Make it happen. You guys, I love you guys. Make sure that you guys stay connected to M for MM.
Yes.
This is the driver. If it were not for M for MM, it would not be a Roz. Make sure that you follow us on YouTube. Reshare this post. People need to know that we have such beautiful entrepreneurs out here making a difference. And I'm just so excited to have them on. And I appreciate everybody for being on today. Thank you guys so much. Have a great day. Love on your friends and family this weekend. Go sign up. Go buy some product from Piedmont Hemp Co. Go do something special. And just know I'll be back here next Friday, 1:00 p.m. Eastern. Can I Talk with Roz?